Hi, this is Dave at TitleRecovery.com and CarTitles.com. Look, a car with no title could be like a ticking time bomb for liability for the person that is in possession of the car. Prior owner of that vehicle technically is still the legal owner if they're on the front of the title. They may have signed it over to you on the back. If you haven't processed it with the DMV into your name, could be a problem. In some cases, you may not actually have the title in your name, but just have to go through maybe a title recovery or duplicate title to get it in your name. Do that as soon as you can. Here's what might happen. If that prior owner of the vehicle has moved, you might not be able to find them. They might have moved to another location where they're out of reach. You may not be able to locate their new address. If you have a title signed over to you and you lose it or it becomes damaged, or for some reason when you sign it you sign the wrong place and it can't be presented to DMV, you may have to track down that prior owner. And if they're long gone, you may not be able to get that rectified. Now the title's not in your name. Number two, that person may have been divorced in the meantime. Well, when that's the case, the other spouse may have rights to half of the assets. That vehicle legally might be considered the asset of that person who's on the front of the title. Even if they signed it over to you, if you lose that title, if it becomes damaged, you now no longer have proof that it's your vehicle, and that other party, that spouse, may be looking to get some money back from it. If the person files bankruptcy, well, the bankruptcy court's going to look at any assets that this person who's filed may be in possession of or may legally own, and look to take those assets to offset some of the debts in the bankruptcy. If the person is sued in civil court, it may be a foreclosure suit, maybe a small claims lawsuit, it may be a damages lawsuit. The first thing that trial attorney, that plaintiff's attorney, is going to do is look to see the defendant if they have any assets. And if they have assets like this vehicle, because it's going to be still showing in their name, they're going to try to get those assets to recover the judgment for that lawsuit. What if the person becomes deceased and they die, and there's an estate or probate looking again at what assets can go in for the descendants or the heirs? That may put you in a position of having to defend your ownership of the car, but since it's not legally in your name, you don't have a title in your name, that could be a problem. In some cases, there's a title that has a lien holder on the front. Somebody borrowed money for that car at some time in the past. Look, the account may have been paid to zero. There may be no money owed, but if it's not erased from the title, somebody's got to sign off on it. And if that lien holder goes out of business, there's nobody that can legally sign the front of that title and clear the lien off of your title, make it a clear title. The other thing that could happen is, in some states, the VIN number vehicle record are purged after a certain period of time, maybe a couple years, maybe 3, 4, 5 years. When there's no activity, they purge the VIN number, which makes it very difficult for you to process title in your name after that fact, especially if one of the other things has happened. The person's moved, they're divorced, they've become deceased. So if you have a vehicle and you don't physically have a title, piece of paper with your name on it, on the front of the title as issued by the state, you should get a title in your name as soon as you can. Every day that goes by is one more day that one of those things on that list could happen. The person who last owned the vehicle and legally is still the owner might move, become divorced, go bankrupt, get sued, they could die, they could get foreclosed on, they could have a lender that goes out of business, or the VIN number could be purged. Any one of those things could be fatal to you getting a title in your name without spending thousands and thousands of dollars on legal fees, and then even in that case, you may not win. You may not be able to keep that car, and if you put any kind of money into it or plan on it, that could be a problem. So having no title is like every day is a ticking time bomb. Get the title as soon as you can. There's maybe a cost involved in doing it, but that cost is not going to be any less than it will be down the road. Fees are only going up. More importantly, it will ensure that you have the ability to get that title in advance of one of those catastrophic things happening. And people moving, dying, getting divorced, bankrupt, sued, foreclosure, they happen all the time. Matter of fact, most people have that one of those things happen to them at one time in their life. So keep that in mind as you go forward with a car that doesn't have a title on it.